Hello, how's it going? Hope you're doing okay. I know I am. I was just thinking about how long I've been recording, and a friend of mine was just here and we were talking about it. And I still have some of my oldest gear that I still work with. This is a Sony 4-track reel-to-reel from the late 70s, mid to late 70s. This is a Sony half-track mastering deck. Between the two of them, I've put thousands of hours on it and lots of recording with myself, my friends, and some live bands, and a lot of good stuff over the years. After a while, the 4-track cassette decks started looking pretty good, and I had a series of those. This is the last one I had that I bought. It was a Tascam. Still works great. Don't have much use for it now, except for mixing down old tapes that were done on this machine or one similar to it for friends. And by the late 90s, I had my first foray into the digital realm and bought my first digital 8-track. So when I stopped relying on the cassette deck for my outboard recording gear, I went to, in the late 90s, I bought one of these. This is a Roland VS840 8-track. A really nice deck, really good sounds, and a lot of nice internal digital effects. The reverb in this is one of the best I've ever heard. It works. Still works, but it became very limiting because it recorded everything not to a hard drive, it recorded everything to a zip disk. And in this case, I could only put 100 megabytes worth of digital information on this disk, which meant you could only get 1 or 2 songs on one of these disks. And you were limited as to how much you could have with one song. So if you had a lot of information, this wouldn't take care of it. So my step up from the Roland 8-track was this. This is really a great machine. The Tascam 2488, 24-track digital, built-in effects, built-in MIDI sound module, and a MIDI player. So you could actually play back MIDI tracks in here, and it had its own sound module in it, and it was just great. It is still great, still works fine. But you're limited in this case to a 40 gigabyte hard drive, which means you could put a lot of songs on here. This is what I've replaced the 2488 Tascam to. This is its big brother. Over the years they have several different newer versions of the 2488, and this would be the latest one. This is called the DP24SD. And why SD? Because it has no hard drive. It saves everything to an SD card. So after you're done recording, you can just pop this out, stick it in your computer, transfer all the tracks to your DAW, in my case Reaper. A real easy thing to do. Plus, you've got this to just take to someone's house. I have a friend who has a beautiful baby grand piano in his living room. Well, he could use one of my digital keyboards up here to add stuff to it, or I can pick this up, go to his place, and let him add the sound of his great baby grand piano. Come home, stick it in the computer, stick it into Reaper, do all my mixing, adding, whatever. I have some recordings where I have 3 to 4 different people that I've recorded at their homes. People, in some cases, people who don't really even know each other, they just know me. And we've made recordings together. So it's just a thought. Don't ignore the fact that these things are still being manufactured, and they're going for fairly cheap prices. I mean, brand new, this 24 track was $500. And that was when it was brand new. You can probably pick these up on eBay now for about $250. I'm guessing, but I would think because they've been out a few years. And there's also Boss versions, 8-track and 16-track. There's Zoom versions, 8-track and 16-track. It's just a thought. If you're locked into your room with your DAW and always having to have other people come to you to record, maybe you could get something like this and go to them. Well, have a good day. Thanks for watching.